Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas are fighting for something boxing almost never gives away for free: the future of the entire division. 154 pounds is topped by 4 fighters who all claim to be king, yet somehow we're no closer to finding out who actually wears the crown. Boots and Zayas are trying to settle that debate the old-fashioned way, by fighting it out. You probably already think Jaron Ennis is special. He looks the part, he fights the part. But against Xander Zayas, he'll have to prove it, because Zayas isn't going to show up to confirm what everybody already believes about Boots. Both Boots and Zayas want to prove to you, the boxing fan, that when the dust settles at 154 pounds, they're the fighter who deserves to wear the crown. The matchup is one we've seen 100 times before. Boots Ennis is one of the most explosive athletes in boxing. He's got fight-ending power, the ability to punish a mistake in an instant. Zayas is the opposite. He's a slick technician who needs enough rounds to prove he's the smarter fighter. And the winner won't just get bragging rights. They'll move to the front of the line in a division where they get to call the shots. Fundora, Ortiz, and Josh Kelly all claim to be the best at 154 pounds, but on Saturday night, Boots and Zayas are the ones putting that claim on the line. The problem is that 154 pounds has spent the last few years asking questions without answering them. Sebastian Fundora holds titles. Vergil Ortiz may be the division's most dangerous pressure fighter. Tim Tszyu is still trying to reclaim his place among the elite. And yet, despite all the talent, nobody has separated themselves from the pack. That's what makes Boots Ennis and Xander Zayas so interesting. They're not just entering the title picture. They're entering a division desperate for somebody to take control of it. Looking at the 154-pound rating, you see a slew of fighters who can be promising and among the best of their peers, especially with Terrence Crawford exiting the picture and opting not to return to boxing, much less 154 pounds. You look at Sebastian Fundora and the long, absurd reach that he has. You look at Xander Zayas' slick boxing. Israel Madrimov. You've got Josh Kelly, who beat Bakram Murtataliyov. Tim Tszyu and Bakram are still in the mix. Brandon Adams. This division is among boxing's deepest that hasn't been solved yet. I'm not saying it's 135 or 130 or heavyweight or anything like that. No, but it is still a very good division. And then you throw Boots Ennis into the mix, and there you've got yourself a bona fide division that is a very fun division. There's some incredibly fun matchups in this. I know y'all guys are not big on Josh Kelly, but Josh Kelly has some of the better wins in boxing outside of Ennis, who, you know, at lower weight classes has beat, Stanionis, Chukhadzhian, Avanesyan, Roman Villa, Chukhadzhian again. And then you got Sergey Lipinets. Like, he's beat some okay names, but to me, Jaron Ennis has always been missing that it fight, the one that makes him the best in the world. And for a while we thought it was going to be Vergil Ortiz, but boxing the business and boxing the sport are two completely different things, and unfortunately right now boxing the business reigns and rules the day. But you watch this fight, you watch this division, and you think to yourself, like, man, how would Jaron Ennis handle a Sebastian Fundora? Hey, can Josh Kelly make it boring enough to beat a Vergil Ortiz? What happens to Xander Zayas if Vergil Ortiz fights him? What happens under that pressure, right? We don't get answers to these questions because they're just circling each other, looking at each other, ifing each other, like, come on, I want you to go. Like, it's more than that. You have to do more than that. You have to fight when it matters. See, these guys don't fight each other. Fundora's tried. He's fought Tim Tszyu. You know, he's fought Keith Thurman, which is not a real fight at 154. Let's be honest. At that point, Keith Thurman wouldn't have. But at least he's trying. But now we finally got clarity. We finally got a fight that actually means something in the division. Yeah, Jaron Ennis and Xander Zayas are the two to step up and show what this is all about. This fight is among the best boxing can offer in this division. I've always wondered, you know, just how good Zayas is. And I've always had questions about Boots Ennis. Like, man, does he beat Terrence Crawford? Does he not beat? Because he's been chasing Terrence Crawford for a long time, and now he's kind of purposeless without him. But how does he handle a Terrence Crawford-like fighter? Well, we got Xander Zayas. He's not quite Terrence Crawford, but it's one of the better questions at 154. Devin Haney doesn't want anything to do with him. Like, Boots is a monster. And that leads us to, like, our stand-up portion of this fight. Like, how does this go down? Because, yeah, I mentioned at the top, like, Xander Zayas is the slicker boxer, but boy, Jaron Ennis is just as good of a boxer. Like, he has great footwork. He keeps his power base under him, kind of Tyson-esque, His punches have authority when he throws them. Zayas himself is a little more slick. I'm not saying it's this level of greatness, so don't, like, flame me for this, but, like, it's kind of like a Roberto Duran Sugar Ray matchup, where everything Roberto Duran throws is going to be with the intent of taking your head off or finding a way to take your head off. That's how Jaron Ennis fights. That's how Boots fights, trying to take your head off the entire time. Whereas you look at a Xander Zayas, and he's trying to be slick. He's trying to find the counters. He's got quick hand speed. He's got the whole package of a very good boxer. So this fight, it boils down to, how can Xander Zayas handle the initial onslaught of Boots Ennis, and can he continue to handle the onslaught, and can Boots Ennis continue to put forth that onslaught? Because if this fight goes into the later rounds, like I think it does, it can get very interesting. Zayas can pull himself up by his bootstraps and really put on a good showing for himself. And if there's anything we know about, like, the Rico Verhoeven Alexander Usyk fight, it's like, yeah, things seem to be looking good for Usyk on paper, but Rico's racking rounds. And in that second and third quarter, when Xander Zayas starts racking up the rounds, like two out of every 3 rounds he starts racking up, he starts to take a lead, even if he got a 10-8 knocked down and a 10-8 round in the second round or whatever Boots lands, right? There's those options there for him. I just think what's on the line for this is the driver's seat of the division. And for Xander Zayas to seize that would be an incredible feat, because he's nowhere close to the favorite in this fight. Like, everybody expects Jaron Ennis to win this fight. Boots should win this fight. And if I'm placing my pick on it, this is a very good fight. I'm betting on Boots. His boxing skill is good enough to land on a Xander Zayas. It's good enough to hurt Xander Zayas, to stifle his game. He doesn't necessarily have to knock Zayas out. But if he could make Xander Zayas say, hey, look, you're a young guy. He's 20, how old is he? 23 years old. You're young, inexperienced. I am also young. Boots is only 28. God, oh my God, this is a fight, boys. But you watch this fight. This is going to be a masterclass in what boxing is. And should Boots Ennis come out here and knock out Xander Zayas, or if Xander Zayas comes out and makes a statement as is, like, Boots can't touch me. Who can touch me? Nobody. You can't touch me, Vergil Ortiz. You can't touch me, Fundora. Josh Kelly, you sure can't touch me. Bakram, Zoo, all of you guys can't touch me. That's a statement for the ages. Then Boots, obviously the A-side, Boots, he knocks out Xander Zayas, the young, talented upcomer that is the champion already. They better watch out. Vergil Ortiz better watch out walking on the punches. Sebastian Fundora better watch out leaving his chin high. Josh Kelly better watch out not putting out enough output. Devin Haney is going to stay down. Garcia not coming up to 54. No. Jaron Ennis knocks out Xander Zayas, and the whole world of boxing is on notice. At 160, at 154, any weight class around him, they are on notice. This fight is more important than the media is letting you believe. This fight is one of those fights where the future of boxing is at stake.